I'm just delighted to be in this cool studio, very refreshing. I thank God for this air conditioning because Bahamians out there is blistering heat. This summer cannot be compared to last summer. I mean, the heat is so awful. Even in the nighttime, it's hot, extremely hot. And I don't know of any arrangements that have been made to help the less fortunate in our country because Bahamians, other cities around the world are making arrangements to help people in their respective areas. But I don't know of any plans the government has put in place to assist the most unfortunate people in our country, particularly the most vulnerable. And we have too many that are bearing down under this heat, Bahamians, and it's going to cause a whole lot of problems. I'm going to suggest to you people who have to wake outside that you refuse to wake outside in this kind of weather. Let me tell you why. If the employer doesn't have enough sense to realize that he ought to protect his workers or the people who help him to make money, then you have to take the necessary appropriate action that is essential to protect yourself. He cannot heal you when you're sick. Neither could he raise you from the dead. And a lot of people are getting sunstroke, all kinds of strokes happening. And people are getting sick and they're not sure why. But this heat is having a dramatic effect on the health of the Bahamian people. Bahamians, you can't take anything for granted. Plus, there's some diseases that are out there that people are not talking about. And we just see a whole lot of people just dying. Just look at the newspapers, Bahamians. People are just disappearing off the scene. And when I get news of persons who I met or have heard for a little while, I hear they're deceased. And they didn't send me a letter to say, Professor, we're going now today or tomorrow or next week, or they plan to go somewhere. You just hear they are not here. That is not good news, Bahamians. We're losing too many people. And it's going to have a very negative impact on the country. I won't talk about all the murders. I understand another murders occurred, a whole lot of shootings that are happening, and this tremendous heat, people's temper just flare. That means we have to be careful. We have to survive. By the grace of God, we will survive. But we got to turn to God. We can't expect to continue to doing wickedness and corruption and expect to survive this kind of weather. This weather only adds to the problems. I've never been in this kind of weather like this before in my life, but it's extremely hot. Even I said in the nighttime it's hot. You got to take shower more than once a day just to keep cool. And Bahamians, we got to pray and ask God to give us some relief from this terrible heat. It's well over 100 now. And Bahamians, as the degrees add up, it keeps getting worse. And there are no special plans in place by the government of Bahamas that I know of. Now, if you know of any, you let me know. I haven't heard any announced. None has come to this radio station. But we know people are getting sunstrokes. And when people get hit with strokes, they don't easily heal. They're trying to get assistance at the public hospital, the Princess Margaret Hospital or Doctors Hospital for those who could afford to go to doctors. I told you last time I got sick or something had happened to me, I called for the elders of the church. The pastor came and anointed me. And in less than 2 hours, I was up on my feet and ready to go. Now, you may not believe in divine healing, but the Bahamians are going to tell you one thing. You better start believing in it because too many are dying. Or something's wrong with that picture. Let God be true and every man a liar because the truth is not in him. Bahamians, I believe we need to wake up to the realities of the day. If this is any indication of what may happen further down the road, it's going to be extremely uncomfortable. And I'm going to be praying a lot for the Bahamian people. I don't like to hear about bad things happening to people. My mother and father did an excellent job in upbringing 12 pigeons, 9 of their own, and 3 grandchildren. My daughter always liked boys. She had 6 boys of her own and 3 grandboys. And she loved her boys. She loved the girls too, 3 girls, 3 daughters. And the thing is that, when you go through these experiences and you see how things are today, I'm very much concerned about the safety of children. Grandfathers molesting their children, their grandchildren. Come on. What is this? Police officers and immigration officers can't keep the clothes on. What are we supposed to be like? Is this the kind of society we're having for the future? This is Open Line Friday. We can discuss anything, not personal issues now. We don't want to get into any people's personal problems or issues. We could talk about community issues, constituency issues, island-wide issues, national issues, regional issues, international issues, and worldwide issues. The point is, Bahamians, we got to keep abreast as to what is going on. So many things are happening in this country. I'm going to be a responsible broadcaster and broadcast the facts as I get them, as I know them to be. And I told you some very specific things I'm calling on you to do. We have 5 months, just a little under 5 months in this year. We have to be ready for January 1, 2026. There's a lot of work to do to get this country ready. And we cannot be playing any games. We have to face the harsh reality as is and trust God to deliver us, because He's the only one who can deliver us out of these problems, out of these issues that are just tearing the nation apart. And it hurts my spirit when I see so many people suffering, so many people dying, people not even scoring 30 in their lives. Some people not scoring 50. Some people struggling to get 60. And then 60 and over, well, you have a few. Then you get into 70s, you have a few. When you get into the 80s, you have fewer still. And hardly anybody gets into the 90s, a few of them also. And then fewer still at 100 and above. That was happening to our people. What about the 5th commandment? God says, honor your father and your mother. That's what the man told me. That your days may be long upon the land that the Lord gives you. He gave us the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, these islands, rocks and keys, as someone said on another show. They belong to the Bahamian people. And we need to have a government who understands that. Because I understand from reliable sources, people selling our keys. Who do they get the keys from? I know of a particular family, and I'm encouraging them to take the necessary action that is essential. Of course, it will require other people, because this land business is very serious business. Do not take it for granted. The constitutional issue that's before the court is a very serious matter. The outcome of that constitutional issue, the outcome of the land issue, can either make or break the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. If you don't have the right people to deal with your business, Bahamians, you're going to be in serious trouble. So let's pray to God. Let's turn to God. Let's listen to Him. But see, He'll tell you the kind of people that's supposed to be running things in this place. And I'm going to go very deep into these constitutional issues that deal with the governance of this country, because many of you don't even know. But I'm delighted that a lot of you have been listening to me and following the shows. That is wonderful. That's very good. And you're beginning to be enlightened about the Constitution. I need 180,000 plus to know the Constitution just as well as I do. It takes you time to do that now. But you're going to get to know enough that you'll be able to turn this country right side up. And you don't have to be deceived and misled anymore, as you have been for 52 years plus. That spirit must be broken once and for all. I've seen too much suffering. I don't like it, Bahamians. Too many people have already suffered. And they're in their graves. Their families are left behind. The families are hurting. And they don't know who to turn to. Who? The little child looking up to daddy, looking up to granddaddy. And all he knows is how to molest a child. What kind of crap is that? Who are these people? Are they genuine Bahamians? And the suicidal thing, I still don't get the understanding of that. Some of you got to try to help me to understand that. The reason why I find it hard to believe that Bahamians, genuine Bahamians, well, they say organic Bahamians, who go to church on Saturday and Sunday would commit any suicide. It's going to be very difficult to convince me of that. Now, I do understand that there are some people who have no fear for God, haven't been brought up in the way of God. The Holy Bible was always in the house. I was always taught by my mother and father about going to church on Sunday. That was back then, but I go to church on Saturday now. Tomorrow I'll be in church. My pastor told me, if you miss 3 consecutive Sabbaths not going to church, I wasn't out last week. I was so tired. But I can make sure I get enough sleep tonight so I can be in church tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. And when I started going to church on Saturday, it was so strange. Because I used to go to church on Sunday. And I had to make a shift because I found that Sunday is not a Sabbath day. That's them other people's day. But the point is, you have to change and agree with God. The same thing with politics. The same thing with representation. The same thing with running a country. You need people who will agree with God. You're going to hear all kind of crappy things. People coming out of the dark and making promises to you that they do not intend to keep. So I'm going to advise you very strongly, work with 2 documents, the Holy Bible, which is the Holy Word of God, and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And I'm going through every single article that deals with the governance of this country, so that when you go in that box to mark your X, you will know just who to vote for. Because some people, you can't vote for them. You could just cast them on the side because you've seen their track record. And the track record is extremely terrible. No value, no purpose, no good at all, period. Now, there's some who want to get a chance. Some are clamoring, say, give us a chance. Are you going to give a homosexual a chance? You can give a child molester a chance. Is that what you want to do? You're going to give a thief a chance to steal the public's money? Is that what you want? Or are you going to find people of character? I heard Glennis Hanneman talk about people who cannot be trusted. And she did talk about some people who are now in jail. Say plenty of them. I got to find out who these people are who are in jail. But I do know that there have been a lot of criminal activity going on with molestation of children, rapes, and sexual offenses, Bahamians. I don't know where they come from. This is not the Bahamas I grew up in, as young as I am. Some things you see happening today were not known to the Bahamian people. Some things not even mentioned because it's not us. It's not a part of our makeup. But now today, all kind of crappy things around here. Everybody talking about they is Bahamian, and they speaking all kind of funny things. They don't look like us. They don't behave like us. I talking about real Bahamians. I ain't talking about them funny ones who got one crop of paper in their hand talking about they is Bahamian. I talking about that crew. That's a wicked crew. I'm talking about Bahamians who have been reared in the fear of God. Those kind of people don't even think about suicide. So I find it rather difficult. And I'm struggling with this issue about suicides in this country. We got to know who are these people who are committing suicide. What's their background? What is their relationship to the Creator, if they have one? Apparently they don't. Where did that come from, Bahamians? We have plenty youngsters in our own family, and not a single one of them is suicidal. And I know they like to eat plenty, so they got to have some money to feed them. I'd rather feed them rather than them talking about suicide. And I see them all the time. And not one living youngster in my family talking about any suicide. We have a caller, Mr. Producer. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Hey, how are you? I'm glad you called today because I got to ask you about Grand Bahama. I played 2 tapes yesterday. Listen, I'm not going to cut you off. I played 2 tapes yesterday, and I got asked the producer to play those tapes again today because 76 days later, I understand some other things are happening. The man got knocked down the building, which I believe more than $60-something million was spent to maintain it. So they're knocking it down. And then the man also say, well, you all got to do something about the airport if I going to do something with this hotel. So some funny things are happening. And when I play that tape about all that dancing and music and people getting together, the port, the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the government, one big fight where they owed hundreds of millions of dollars, according to the prime minister. You think that gone away just like that? But the man say, and you got to listen to the comments from the person in charge of the port. He wasn't talking like this before. But let me let you go ahead and have whatever you say. But you got to tell me about Grand Bahama. And people in Grand Bahama, I need you to call me today, man. You disappointed me yesterday. Well, one or two people did call.
I can tell you, as for Grand Bahama, like I said, as far as we know.
Yes, ma'am.
And what we're hearing is the Grand Lucayan Hotel is supposed to be closing.
Yes, you did say that the last time.
The Prime Minister is very hush-hush on that.
Yes, ma'am.
But I heard the folks who were supposed to be buying the property now said that basically what they're doing is going to hinge on the airport.
That's correct. You're quite right. I heard that too.
And I can understand why he says that. Because, Professor, I work for the Princess Hotel.
Yes, ma'am.
And that hotel had their own charter.
Oh, okay. All right.
They used to have an airplane that carried about 170 persons.
Okay.
That airplane used to touch down in Freeport 4 times a day.
Yes, ma'am.
And each time that plane was to be just about full.
Yes, ma'am.
If you do not have airlift, jet-sized planes coming in, nothing is going to happen for Grand Bahama. Because you have to have a way to get your people there.
That's correct.
Bahamas Air coming in every other day with a couple of people. Western Air coming in with a couple of people cannot sustain a hotel.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
I can tell you also, we have gone ahead and given Carnival all of this property
Yes, ma'am.
for them to construct what they did. The other day, Professor, the ship brought in about 9,000 people. And out of 9,000 people coming to the island, 4 taxis were able to get a job. So what's happening here doesn't really affect the island of Grand Bahama,
Yes, ma'am.
because the people come to the key, everything is prepaid, they're not doing any tours, so the taxi drivers are not making any money.
Yes, ma'am.
Now they have some expats who are working on the island, who are renting, and maybe they go to the food store to buy food. But that's not a big thing for our economy.
No, it's not.
But and that's typical PLP.
Yes, ma'am.
Big party, jumping up and dancing. I have never seen more groundbreaking in the past couple of months.
Yes, ma'am.
In my life.
Yes, ma'am.
They are on every island, groundbreaking and groundbreaking. Sometimes breaking the same ground 3 and 4 times.
Yes, ma'am.
We in Grand Bahama are beyond groundbreaking. And we need this Prime Minister to be upfront and honest with the Bahamian people. Is this hotel closing? And if so, when? Is the $120 million in the bank? You're not hearing anything about that?
Nothing at all.
So I just hope my Bahamian people, especially in Grand Bahama and throughout the land and breadth of this country, are paying attention to what this man is saying, what his party is doing, and it's not affecting us.
What his government is doing.
The local person is suffering.
Point of correction. What his government is doing. The party ain't doing
Yes,
nothing.
what his government is doing.
Yeah, the government. That's the people's money.
Yes, yes. And then he has the nerve to stand up and tell us we don't have an immigration problem.
That's what the man say.
I mean, a blind man can see. We have an immigration problem.
Big one.
I don't know where the Prime Minister thinks the Bahamian people are. And he is taking us for fools.
Yes, ma'am.
But we are awoke. We know, we see, we feel exactly what's going on in the country.
Yes, ma'am.
So them dancing up and partying here on our tax dollars.
Taxpayer dollars, yes.
Flying all over the place. Entourage everywhere. Party everywhere. We, the local people, are paying for this.
Yes, we are.
I mean, our backs we're tired.
Very tired.
We're paying for the illegals. The government is using all our money flying and doing what they need to do. But the Bahamian people are not benefiting. So Grand Bahama is in a bad state. We're in a bad state.
Ma'am, it is being said that the economy of the Bahamas rests on Grand Bahama succeeding. I didn't hear them say anything about New Providence.
It used to back in the day.
Yeah, maybe it used to.
The second city.
Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh.
But now we're a ghost town.
Yes, okay.
So nothing much is happening in Grand Bahama, Professor.
Yes, ma'am.
They come with that, we're going to break this thing down. Nothing has happened ever since that day they left.
76 days ago.
Yes.
But
So
I
the
appreciate.
prime minister needs to get up and make a statement and inform the Bahamian people, especially on Grand Bahama,
Yes,
the situation about the Grand Lucayan Hotel.
yes. And they even set
And
up
Professor, you,
yeah, go ahead.
but the thing about it is, Professor, you don't know how to for the workers that are there, you don't know how to plan.
Yes, ma'am.
School is coming up.
That's right.
Can I go away and buy my children uniforms? Will I have a job when I come back? We're in limbo because nobody's saying anything.
Yes, ma'am.
And he should not do that to the Bahamian people.
I agree.
So thank you.
Thank
Nothing
you
is
for that
happening to Grand
report.
Bahama.
I appreciate that report. That's one lady who calls from Grand Bahama. She came to my rescue today. And others in Grand Bahama, you've got to stand with her. In fact, you need to be organized. Now, let me say this right now. If you do not know how to do it, you call Professor Sidney McGarr Walter Thompson. And I'll be glad to come down there to help you. Because Bahamians, we have to save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We can't listen to these people with a forked tongue. They're going to play those tapes again so you can hear them again. And also that other tape, Mr. Producer, I told you about. Some people forgot about that. But the man say he's one of them. You thought he was joking, eh? He was dead serious. And you see by his behavior, by his actions, that he's one of them. But you got a stranger in the House of Assembly. House of Assembly is supposed to be Bahamians. See, these are the kind of things we let happen, Bahamians. We got some others in there who are not Bahamian. But yet they're sitting in making decisions. People in the cabinet who know nothing about the Constitution. And they're running things. And we are sitting here just letting this crap go on and on and on and will not fight it. But that has to change, Bahamians. We need to salvage the country and let us trust in God. Do not go into this season and not have God with you, Bahamians, because you will lose. I'm going to go to great lengths. Every single article in that Constitution that speaks to the governance of this country, you're going to know it. And know it well enough to make a sound decision and a good judgment. Because a lot of you don't know what's going on, and I am saddened by that. All kind of crappy things happening right in your face. And you're letting these wicked people get away with it. Then we can stop this foolishness, Bahamians. But it has to stop today. Because we can't keep going like this. This is the beginning of a new month. 8 means new beginnings. We've had 7 months already. We only got 5 months left in the year. We can still be doing foolishness. December 31st. Talking nonsense. Or we're going to be doing things to change the way this country operates, Bahamians. We can't keep going like this. And I'm going to need your support to change it, Bahamians, because we got to work now. Now is the time. That's why I told you to send me that email. And I'm going to tell you the email I hear, the music in the background. We're going to have this break. We're going to go to this break and we will come back after the break. But Bahamians, we are in a crisis. The man tell you don't have no immigration crisis. We got immigration crisis. We got constitutional crisis. We got labor crisis. We got all kind of crises in this place. But this is how people believe you ain't got no sense. So they talk a lot of crap. And you let them get away with the crap. That's going to stop as of today. This is Professor Sidney McGarr Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break. Bahamians, we've already lost 7 months in this year, and a lot of people are unhappy with the results you see happening in this country. Now, I want you to give me a chance to do something. You gave them other people 52 years. 52 years, Bahamians. You see where this country is today? You see the kind of problems we have in this place? From the people who you gave authority to run the place. You see how jacked up it is? You see how messed up it is? And you're sitting right there and letting the crap keep pouring over you. That means we got to do better than this. You see all this terrific heat we're having? Plus all the problems that have mounted up over 52 years. And they're still talking about whether we're an independent nation, yes or no. The Constitution says the Bahamas shall be a sovereign, independent, theocratic, democratic state. I believe that. That's in the Constitution. God is to be in charge in the Bahamas, not the devil. So we got to get back to our founding principles, Bahamians. We have lost our way. Those who you gave authority to have lost their way. We have to fix that. You can't keep going downhill and keep losing. See what happened in Sudan? See what happened in the Gaza Strip? They're just around the corner here. See what happened in Haiti? They say they got independence in 1804. And there are some people who say you have to fight for it. But we fought for our independence. Our mothers and fathers fought to give us this country, an independent nation. Don't you ever make that mistake, Bahamians, into thinking we didn't fight for it. Nothing was given to us for free. There's still some things we got to fight for now, you know. Because there are some people who want to take away what you have already gotten. And you sit right there and let them take it away from you. The answer is no. You'll fight them. And that's what I want you to do, Bahamians. Get up and fight. Get on your feet because we have work to do. Plenty of work. But only a short time to do it. So please send me that email. The State of the Nation 242 @gmail.com. And say, Professor, I want to support what you're doing. Because there are several things. I'm going to mention it in the show today. What I must do, Bahamians, you see how broke up this place is? You have to have a strong media. You see the people got the media? Broke it right up. All those trained persons with experience gone elsewhere. And you have some younger people in there who kind of unstable. I have to help them, you know. I ain't taking no crap from nobody. I tell you that right now. Not Professor Sidney Magada Walter Thompson. See, I know better. I've been trained better to do better. While people have a right to express their views, I have nothing against that. The Constitution allows for that. But there are some people who will lie to you, mislead you, deceive you. And we aren't getting anywhere like that, Bahamians. That's not working in our best interests. We have to see some real results happening for people. The vast majority of the Bahamian people are not benefiting in this country. We have dropped from middle class to lower class. I believe we have a call on the line. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good afternoon, Professor.
Hey, what you say, man?
I am good. And the
Are
lady
we
from
an independent nation?
sorry, what about it?
Are we an independent nation?
Well, my quick opinion is no. And I think that's debacle right there.
You don't,
Because I believe in truth. The truth is the truth. There's no argument there. Yes, sir?
The Constitution says the Bahamas shall be a sovereign, theocratic, independent, democratic state. You don't believe that?
Are we?
I
That's
believe
my
that the
question to you. I
Constitution
don't
says.
think we are.
No, okay, all right, fine. But I accept that. If you say
In my
that,
humble opinion, and
you know what
trust me,
I'm
I
going to
say
tell you?
humble.
The
Shut up.
very people who were given the authority to run this place have jacked it up. That's why some people believe you're not an independent nation. You give authority to the wrong set of people, what the heck you expect? That's why we have problems. We have to find righteous people to run the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's what God tells you. Do we want to do that? I'm going to tell the Bahamian people, listen to God now. Stop listening to them crappy people. Listen to God so we could get out of the mess that we're in. And He will help us to get out. Caller, you still there?
Yeah, Professor?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me let you
Okay,
make your
yes,
point.
sir. You keep using the term a single person, plural, that's the term, that you said you. Professor, you insulted half of the country when you said you know, because we didn't. We are a Haitian bloc in this country now for 52 years, and we didn't know it. These are the people who decides the next government. We got 150 Bahamians over here, F&M, 150 people over here, PLPs. Then the Haitians walk up. Who we pick is your next government, but you keep blaming the Bahamian people. Well, I know you don't personally. I
understand what you're saying. I understand.
Yeah, you understand, but you use the word, first person plural there. We didn't do it. Personally, I didn't do it. And I'm not gonna back off from the fact that I wanted Brave Davis over the last prime minister. I'll tell you that right now. And I think all the Bahamas wanted that. But it was the Haitian people who decided that at the end. And they always decided our elections because, like you always say, because of the neglect and of the Constitution.
Yes.
We're in this situation we're in right now.
That is correct.
Absolutely. And to the lady in Freeport, I know her voice now that she mentioned Princess Towers. I work at the Princess Towers for 30 years. I noticed that intelligent lady's voice. But I didn't call you for that. I just wanted to say to you, I ask you another question now. Because of the situation you're in, I really appreciated seeing you on the side of Lincoln Bain, but not necessarily on the side, on his show that day when you and Sean Gardner appeared on that show.
Yes.
But I know you have an objection to what's the word? Our republics.
No, I do.
You do, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
I think that has to be fleshed out. Because let me tell you something. 52 years later, the Bahamian people are just beginning to understand this most valuable document that we have. To put something into their head that is so strange and so foreign and so alien, so outside, you're going to throw the country back even further. It has to be discussed, and the people have to be asked properly as to whether they want it, yes or no.
Yes.
We have a very strong constitution which can deal with our problems. We just have the wrong set of people to run the friggin' place.
Exactly.
That's what the problem is.
Yes.
That's the real problem.
But the paramount problem, I think we just agreed on just now.
Yes.
Who are the people voting? Because now we'll take it back to the Nationality Act. And you say, bring it to the people. Who's going to decide this for us? The Bahamians?
Let's
I don't know
put it
about
this
that.
way.
Then we have so many factions in the word Bahamians right there.
Okay, I understand you.
You're the oligarchs?
Let's put it this way.
Yes, sir.
There are those who took action against the government of the Bahamas by putting a case in the Supreme Court.
Uh-huh.
We're going to push very hard to see if we can get the Chief Justice to move on it. Okay?
Yes,
Because
sir.
Right now,
I hope you have pushed already because time is running out. Because, Professor, I don't know if you hear the excitement in my voice, but today, that's the very minute, I have had a case in court right now for the last month trying to bring this up so that it can meet my financial responsibilities. And you know what I got from a representative of this department I'm working with? I think they call it the prosecution office.
Prosecution, yeah.
Oh my God, I got to start again. Because if your case is not presented to the defendant in a timely manner, the defendant can say, "Oh, you brought it to me too late," and that could be used against you legally within our Constitution. You see what I'm trying to say? So everybody calls in and say, "My God, I hope the Patriots and the COIs and all that thing are going to have a court hearing before the next election, because if not, the country is gone."
I'm going to tell you, we have to have God's divine intervention. See, that's the element they are missing out on. You cannot fight this with your intellectual ability. It's bigger than that. You got some wicked, bad demons in these people, and
Absolutely.
God has to deal with them.
Absolutely.
So we have to look to him. And I am saying to the Bahamian people, give God a chance. Don't waste this next
Professor.
opportunity that you have. Hold on, caller.
Yes, sir.
Don't waste this opportunity that God is going to allow us to have to get this country straightened out once and for all. 52 years of suffering is nothing to play with.
Professor, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a lady who had an injunction on Shanty Downs for 2 years, about 10, 12 years ago. Shanty Downs is still building. The government are just putting up notice that Shanty Downs are coming down. Sir, a Haitian lady who was awarded $500,000 the other day because the government took too long. Today, the court has said that money will not be allocated because of questionable practices with the female judge who awarded her that. Are you following me what I'm saying right now?
I heard about the matter you're talking about, yes.
So the matter
Someone
is in
brought it to
question
my
right now.
attention. Yes.
And this stands on, we have a constitution, of course, but are the people in charge? Because we don't vote for judges, sir. Okay? I hope we could, and that will come in a republic. But if our judges decide that I'm retiring and I could use some money, they could rule any way they want to. And you know how strict it is for me right now, how this is for me right now to talk on the radio about judges. You know, that's the biggest thing in the world. We got Christy love out of the country right now because of judges. I'll leave it right there. Well,
I'm glad you did mention that. I hadn't thought of that, but I know
you know
what you're
what I'm
talking
saying?
about.
So we're in a situation right now. I believe we should vote for judges, commissioners of police, and everybody in between. That should be, and even our prime minister we should vote for, but that wouldn't come under this system you protect. And listen, I agree with you because we're born under this, and this should be our system because it's understandable.
But caller, you can tweak it and make changes to it, you know.
Oh my God, we'd be tweaking for another 52 years.
No. It's the people you have.
The more you
running
tweak,
things.
the more a corrupt person will tweak with you.
But caller, listen
Yes,
to me
sir.
carefully. See, we like to dwell on the negativity so much.
Yes.
You already know you got some corrupt people around.
Yes.
That's why God has to take them out for you.
But it's the glass half full or half empty.
But the point is, people do not have God in their knowledge.
God said to himself, the evil is placed in the heart of man.
Yes, evil is there.
Yes.
So we have to trust God to help us about things that we have little or no control over. And the same
Like you
applies
always
to this
say
case.
every day on your show, sir,
Pardon,
this
sir?
election is the election.
I didn't hear you.
And God, you say this election we're facing right now.
It could
It's
either
the
make or
election.
break the Bahamas.
Yes.
So we have to be very careful with that.
If God doesn't move right now, we're gone.
But we're going to have a divine intervention in this place.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you know, Bahamians, let me just say this to you. I am going to do my part and I'm going to ask you to support me because it's not a one man show. Send me that email, the state of the nation 242 at gmail.com. Please include your telephone numbers on the email and say you want to support Professor Sidney McArthur Walton. Because I didn't tell you some things I have to do, you know. I told you about the rallies. I told you about the town meetings. I told you about the show. We need more sponsors for this show. And we have to make sure that we get accurate and precise information. Some things I haven't even been able to touch to yet. I told you about the research committee. We have to have 49 people with teams of 7 individuals because there's a lot of material out there, Bahamian. I haven't been able to touch it yet. And it's very vital information that need to get into the psyche of the Bahamian people. But it takes effort, it takes funding to do those things. So I want 7,000 plus more of you to send me that email today. I'm dead serious about this. Because we have to do something to stop this massive onslaught. We pray God help us, because if we don't have that, we ain't gonna have no country. That's how serious it has gotten. But the enemy look like he won't win, eh? But God always shows up because he has a place for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And if we got to kill all of them, and there'll be dead bodies dropping around you all over the place, not one touch you. 10,000 fall at your right hand and 1,000 fall at your left hand. You think God ain't able to do that? If the police can't catch them, God will catch them. You just find them dead on the side of the road. Just as simple as that. The point is, Bahamians, we have to trust God and rely on him and depend on him to save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Otherwise, we lose it. And you heard the caller just said that. So when things look so impossible, so difficult, so hard, so rough, so tough, you're going through that for a reason, you know. Jesus said, I will always be with you, even to the end of the world. But you got to trust him. He can't be with you if you live in a corruptible life. He can't be with you if you're a homosexual or a lesbian. Give me a break, man, to pass on these wicked traits to our children. You see all the sexual offenses that are being committed today? You think that just all of a sudden just pop right up? I mean, every time you turn on the radio, listen to the news, and read the paper, always some crappy stuff going on in this country. Sexual molestation, which should not even come out of the mouth of Bahamian people who go to church on Saturday and Sunday. So what the heck are we doing? Huh? I find it very difficult to believe that genuine Bahamians, or they say organic Bahamians, who go to church on Saturday and Sunday, would even dream of committing any friggin' suicide. I tell you, I got plenty in my family. I've checked 7 generations deep. I can't find one single thread of suicidal attempt. Not one. And I extend to all my extended cousins and their children. And they got the Thompson family is a big family, you know. Not a living one of them have any suicidal tendencies. Not one. You see why I have difficulty with this suicide foolishness? Yes, there are people who are committing suicide. Yes, there are people who are attempting suicide. But who the heck are they? They cannot be people who trust in God. Can't. Who sit up in church every Saturday and every Sunday and talk about you worshiping God. Give me a break, man. Bahamians, we've got to get right down to the nitty-gritty because we've got to save this place, man. And I want to emphasize that to you. That's why I'm calling on you and pleading with you. Send me those emails, 7,000 plus. When you say, Professor, I want to support what you're doing, we'll tell you what to do. Because Bahamians, it is now, or we may not have a country after this general election. That's how serious it is. Because we've sat for 52 years, allowed all kind of crappy things to happen. I got to bring my special guest in. He's sitting right here. Brother Cartwright, welcome to Global Radio Network 99.5 FM to Open Line Friday. That's what we're doing today.
Yes.
Open
Well,
Line Friday.
good afternoon, Professor. I'm happy to be here with you and the
Thank you.
great producer behind the scene, Mr. J. Viz,
Oh, he's a great one.
and to the Global 99.5 FM global and local audience. You know, I was listening to the caller when he was talking about changing the system.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, well, we could go to a republic. But when you look at the systems, all the systems have one thing in common: human factors.
Yes, they do.
So if the human factor in the system doesn't abide by the laws that is on the books, it is not the system, it's the individual.
And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. That's why I'm going to go to great lengths. Every single article in this Constitution that deals with the governance of this country. You're going to know that, Bahamians, because I'm taking that very seriously.
And
So you will not, hold on.
yes, go ahead.
So that you will not be deceived. Because there's going to be tremendous deception out there. It has already started. And I want people to take that very seriously. You're going to have people coming out of the woodworks talking all kind of foolishness and nonsense and making promises to you that they do not intend to keep. You got to know the character of the people you're dealing with, because you got people in the House of Assembly who ain't no Bahamian. That's where we are right now. They aren't honest with you and truthful with you, Bahamians. That's why we got this place all messed up. And we're having so many problems. New problems being added. And that's very, very serious. Go ahead, Brother Cartwright.
Yes, you know, I heard him, he mentioned a few things, and he was like, oh,
Yes,
well,
it is.
you have to get to the courts to make a decision on the Patriots matter. And I tried to explain to people that the Patriots matter is not an election matter. It is a constitutional matter. And constitutional matters doesn't look or favors any particular party. It is on its face is that the arguments are strictly within the Constitution. And so when you see what the Patriots are saying is, listen, the government has already tipped their hand. And people say, well, what do you mean? Well, the government has already written through the Patriots, through their legal lawyers, that they would try to go to the courts and they will have an answer to the questions that the Patriots ask. And then if they came back and said, well, we will then go and have the matter dismissed because we believe we're right. But they haven't went to the court because we've seen where persons from the Patriots went to the courts to get a submission on the docket. And the only thing they got was what the Patriots filed. So
Yes,
if
that
the
is
government
correct.
is so sure of them having a winning case, then go to the court and make your presentation, and then the Patriots will then answer you, and then we will now have it in the open whereby what the results are. But I keep telling people, I said, you must understand that the governments upon governments, when they not have a strong hand, they play the delay tactics, hoping that you would get frustrated and say, well, they ain't coming to court, so I'd rather drop it and move on. That's how they win. It's just like the attorney who does all the litigations for non-Bahamians. He looks for loopholes. They're not winning cases. There are loopholes in the system that he takes advantage of.
Yes.
And all it takes is for the government of the Bahamas, or the parliament actually, to close those loopholes and make those loopholes permanent. we've had the situation he mentioned with the young lady. Now, the problem happened was that the judge was retired and she had reached the retirement age, but the thing was, she left the bench. And because she was already off the bench and did not make her presentation, was the norm for judges to do that on a regular basis. But because the matter was then appealed and they saw the flaws in it, they said, no, you have to correct it. And so now that young lady matter has to go back to the courts to be adjudicated. So now you will have a firm answer in a registered substantial time. What we have here in this country is that we've been having too many times when people or non-Bahamians go before the courts and they challenge the government. Most of those challenges is on merits. We just had a case where a gentleman was sent to prison, non-Bahamian. When he came out of prison, he was put inside the detention center. The Minister of Immigration signed his detention writ for him to be deported, which was up until 90 days.
Yeah.
But the problem was they never released the man, they never deported him. So his lawyer went to the court, and the court said, hold on, you holding this man against more than 90 days, that's not constitutional. You must let him go. So I'm saying, and some people, well, when you let him go, lock him back up. I said, no, deport him. He didn't do his time in our prison. He didn't commit a crime and was basically found guilty. And the judge telling you he had 90 days to deport him. So now what you do is you deport him. You have no more rights. Don't have him sitting around here for another 90 days because now you could be facing a lawsuit. And who can pay it? The country.
Country has to pay.
So while you have the opportunity now, just send him home. And so a lot of these things we see with people challenging the government is that the government doesn't want to abide by the Constitution. And we have members of parliament still do not know the Constitution.
No, they don't.
And that's the scary part.
That's the scary part, yes.
So when I hear people say, well, the system, no, it ain't the system. It is the people who we
The
have
people who you have in the system. That's right.
supposed to protect our interests.
They're not doing it.
Not doing it. And then those who don't know it, before they admit they don't know it, they become antagonized and they come after, they attack your character.
Exactly.
But I think I hear that jingle in the
Yeah, I
background.
hear it too. Yeah, I hear it. Yeah. I'm going to have to go to the break. Thank you very much for the Cartwright. I wanted to comment, but I can comment after the break. This is Professor Sidney McArdle, Walter Thompson. We got for the Cartwright, who comes in every Friday to help us on the show. He has a tremendous the way of looking at things, national issues. We love his discourse, and it's very enlightening for the Bahamian people. I'm delighted to have him here today. This is Professor Sidney McArdle, Walter Thompson. The lines are open 3260271, 3260272, 813-0271. This is Professor Sidney McArdle, Walter Thompson on Global 99.5 FM. Express yourself on Open Line Friday. We'll be back after the break.
326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. Of course, today is Open Line Friday. Every Friday is Open Line. And we're going to hear a tape from I believe, the head of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And this proposed project that was supposed to be set up, we heard about the Lakaya Hotel, and they had a special committee or grouping to deal with that. Much money was spent on this particular project, and it was supposed to have been sold. And they had this big party, big celebration, people making noise and carrying on bad. That was more than 76 days ago. And now what's happening today? We're going to hear that tape. And here, listen carefully to what the head of the Grand Bahama Port Authority said. Go ahead, Mr. Producer.
Transaction. This is a resurrection. This is a revival. This is a return to the promise of Freeport and Grand Bahama. This hotel property once served as an economic beacon, a hub of jobs, culture, and community before the cruel winds of Hurricane Matthew brought it to a standstill in 2016. But hear me now. What was broken is being rebuilt. What was closed is being reopened. What was lost is being redeemed. This is not just a milestone. It was a marathon. And now we declare that the race was not in vain. As my friend Minister Ginger Moxie would say, today is part of a new day.
But I got right.
If I didn't know no better, I would say that the chairman of the Grand Bahama Port Authority
yeah.
was campaigning for nomination.
Yeah, I think he was.
Because he ain't saying nothing. This was the same grouping who was saying that the government is getting their numbers wrong. But
yes, that's what it said. Then the government said they owed them hundreds of millions of dollars.
Now you're telling me your friend, you're talking about a new day.
A new day, yes.
I always tell people that I don't know how Mr. Roll looks at it, but every night you close your eyes and every morning you get up, it's a new day.
Yes.
And that's been going on. I don't know how old he is, but I could say for 63 years, 365 times that, but I've had that many new days.
Yes.
So I don't know what he's talking about.
Right.
But here's the problem is that 76 days ago, you brag about this project up and running.
Yes.
76 days later, you find that nothing has been done.
Nothing.
We have not heard or we've not seen the official signing of the agreement.
Nothing.
We've not seen, you talked about the airport, which you was going to brag about what's going to be bringing in this upgrade to the island of Grand Bahama.
Yes.
All we've seen basically was a lot of shovel and dirt, and that's it.
That's it, yes.
There's nothing else after that. So the people of Grand Bahama is still waiting to see what's going to happen, because now that the owner of the so-called investor is saying now that first he's going to knock down the hotel.
Right.
Then now he's crying that, what about the airlift?
Yes.
Now, you're an investor. I understand you worried about the airlift, but the airlift should be a priority of the Bahamas government, because that airport was not only for you, Mr. Investor, that is for all Bahamians, a form of trafficking out of the island besides boat. And Grand Bahamas always had an airport, but we are now to the point where the citizenry of the Bahamas owns the airport now. So it's up to the government and the parliament to see that there is a proper structure in the island of Grand Bahama for people to use air traffic.
Yes.
And so all of this fluff and pageantry, Bahamians have now been over that. You know, and I always tell people that we all hear all these other stuff, but Bahamians are now wiser. and the more understanding. And then I always tell you, if you be honest with someone, they're willing to let you continue to
Yes.
be open.
Yes.
But if you be dishonest, and I always tell people, Bahamians are very, very, very astute. They would not tell you nothing bad to your face. Now, when you leave, they will get into their little conclaves and they will talk amongst each other.
Yeah.
And then when that particular day come, you will find out their results.
Okay.
So I don't know if the producer had another clipping.
No,
Let me
he
come in.
got
Yes.
another clipping
Okay.
that I want to comment on it too. And this is what I'm saying about the people of this country. You got to listen to what people tell you because they think we forgot about that. We're going to use that tape again in the future. Because what you have are people who are painting a story to you that is not accurate and precise. These are supposed to be intelligent people, people who are supposed to be well-meaning, business people, talented people, gifted people. But you have people who deceive and mislead you, Bahamians. All that noise people making in Grand Bahama, the big time party they had down there at the public expense. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good afternoon, Brother Thompson. And,
Hey, we got
Brother Cartwright,
afternoon.
never do today.
Yes, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, Brother Cartwright. Hope you're doing good today.
Yes, sir. God's help.
Brother Thompson, I mean, personally, I feel as if, for one, as long as our highest court is the Privy Council inside, wherever it is, I think that itself, for me, could never represent an independent nation. You know, because your highest court should be here. You know what I mean? Your highest court should be under your own jurisdiction. For one, I mean, other things I could call out, but that for me is a real significant thing. Right now, but the Cartwright was talking about loopholes, right?
Yep.
And the thing about it is that what I want to ask you, Brother Thompson, is the Constitution. Is the Constitution responsible for how cabinet operates?
Yes.
I didn't hear you, sir.
Yes, the Constitution outlines how cabinet ought to operate. Yes.
Okay, yes, sir. Because see, the gentleman who called earlier, and he was talking about the things that are allowed and not allowed under the system, right? And he said, you see, because cabinet then, they are allowed to keep secret from us, or should I say it is a rule that what is discussed in cabinet stays in cabinet, right? And that should not be so. I feel as if whatever is discussed in cabinet, we should know exactly what they discuss inside there. As a matter of fact, like I used to tell Mr. Lang and Teresa Moxie, God bless the dead, that we should have a camera in there so we could see the proceedings of cabinet, just like how we witnessed the proceedings of parliament. You
Okay.
understand? Because I understand that is where the real decisions are made. You know what I mean? So instead of us sitting back wondering how in the world they'd be coming up with these ridiculous decisions they'd be making inside, that we could sit back and we could watch and we could see exactly how they's come about with these ridiculous ideas they've come up with for us.
Okay.
You understand? Because see, Brother Thompson, you know, you talk about the Constitution, and I'd like to say that I want to say that I respect Ms. Ali McIntosh and the Bahamas Constitution Party for their injunction that they brought against the government as it relates to the dealings of the electrical company dealings, you see.
Yes.
I respect her for that because, see, I've been saying, Brother Thompson, and see, you know, you talk about the Constitution, but then we want to see it where it represents power. You know what I mean? Where it is something that we could use to be some type of power for us. Because remember now, Brother Thompson, I a couple of months back, I was asking you, Brother Thompson, is it constitutionally sound for them to take away our electrical company from us? You understand? Because, see, when Brother Cartwright was talking about loophole, they use loopholes to take our electrical company and our telephone company from us because we still own those things.
Okay.
You understand? But the difference is that we are not the real beneficiaries of it. You understand? So and see, if that goes against the Constitution in some kind of way, right? If that makes our politicians to have to betray the public's trust, right, by proceeding with those type dealings, right? Then we want to see the Constitution be used to bring them to accountability. If you understand where I come from, Brother Thompson?
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Because see, you know what I mean. You like I say, you talk about the Constitution, Brother Thompson, but if the Constitution allows cabinet or demands or mandates that what is talked about in cabinet stays in cabinet, then the Constitution ain't on our side. The Constitution should say that nothing that our leaders discuss, unless it has to really do with national security or some type of, we ain't really got them kind of country where we be dealing in no deep dealings like that. So there's nothing that those simple men, so even though some of them might be doctors and lawyers and whatever, before they go inside the house, they're just as simple as me and you. Because if you sitting down talking with them in a bar, drinking with them or something, and if you didn't know them, you'll never say that these people are supposed to be the most intelligent people among us. They're just as simple as you and I. So why should we trust them? Why should we give them so much like freedom to make decisions for us that impacts us like so greatly into the future, and we don't even have no idea as to what they do. And that's why I respect Ali McIntosh again and the Bahamas Constitutional Party. Because, see, that is the kind of things, Brother Thompson, I want to see people start to do if they say the Constitution gives us the right to take action, if they say the Constitution gives us power, if they say we could use the Constitution to make the politicians do right, then I want to see people using the Constitution for that purpose.
Yes. Okay, thank you for your contribution.
Yes, sir, because Brother Thompson, like I told you and Brother Hyler the other day, if we are not willing, right, to act as if the taxi union people have acted, or whatever the case may be, when they shut down the country, ain't nothing happening. Because if we just sit back and discuss the issues, we will just watch them pile up until they pile up to the point like where, ain't nothing to change until we put some action to Brother Thompson talking and getting us nowhere. So
thank you for your contribution. Go ahead, Brother Cartwright.
Yes. Now, I agree with the call, but he said something a little while ago. I don't think he realized what he said. The freedom. The one thing we've been trying to get from our parliamentarians is the Freedom of Nation Act. So no matter what they do in cabinet, the freedom, all matters must be tabled in the parliament. And the matters that you table for policies must be clear. And if the government is withholding that, that is why they've been hiding behind not presenting the Freedom of Nation Act. Because that act itself will allow you as a private citizen to go to the House Assembly or wherever and grab that information and read it for yourself. Yes. And you can question.
Yeah.
What happens in this country is that many Bahamians have this so-called, I'd say 52 years trust in these personalities in the parliament.
That's right.
To the point that people look at them through the eyes of colors and feel that they can't do no wrong. They're human just like you, just like how me and you, we all have faults. He cried about the Privy Council. And the late Loftus Roker said the reason why they never move away from the Privy Council is because the Privy Council or the highest courts can be, under the system we have, be manipulated. Even in a republic, you see the Democrats and Republicans fight over who should be on their courts.
But Brother Cartwright, we don't even know what kind of republic we're supposed to be getting.
No, but I'm just saying.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I understand that.
Even if you vote, those persons and stuff, still, you don't know their political persuasion. So even if you vote them in, and the way how it is set up, if they know the Constitution, see, that's the first thing we have to start looking at. We've got it now, when these persons comes to be judges and stuff, they're attorneys, most of them, because a judge is an attorney, a very senior attorney. You got to question them on the basis of the Constitution.
Yeah.
And see, until we now start to see that, because the Constitution is clear, and this is one thing I keep trying to explain to people. This Constitution we have is so clear. If you take time and read it, you're like, wow, I didn't know this was happening. You know, it took me a while. I used to believe that the permanent secretary was the be all. Until when I look up it in the Constitution, they tell me, say, no, he or she is acting in a supervisory
position.
Role.
Yeah, that's correct.
The minister, who is a part of the cabinet, has got to basically give them a directive to carry out the policies of the cabinet.
That's right.
But we keep saying, oh, We let the permanent secretary.
See, the problem is the weaknesses with the people you're dealing with.
Yes.
Okay, and he may not fully understand. Well, he said if the court is not final here in this country, that means, that doesn't mean much to him. He may not fully understand the power of the Privy Council and its history. The point is that if the Bahamian people want a final court, they can do that. You have to have a constitutional change on that.
Yes.
But the point is, when you look at the system as it is now, with so much polarization in the country, you need the Privy Council to make a ruling.
Yes.
Because the Privy Council, to the best of my knowledge and understanding, has been making fair and just rulings, particularly on constitutional issues.
Yes.
Okay?
That's the key right there.
That's the key right there, what people need to understand. Now, he said about making people do this, that, and the next thing. What he needs to understand is that the Bahamian people are beginning to understand the Constitution. It has to be discussed. This is not something you do overnight. It is a very complex issue in the sense that people do not fully understand or have not known about the Constitution. It's been there for 52 years. But the point is that people have never paid the kind of attention to, just as you said earlier, they trusted these particular personalities who were given this power. And the thing is that it has caused us a lot of problems because we were not checking on the people who were given this power and authority to run this place. So they jack it up. And now we are in such deep problem, we're going to have to fight even harder now than ever before to reverse the trends that are now taking us down instead of taking us up.
Yes.
That's where we are now. So it's going to be a fight, and I want to call it, I understand that. While I respect his views, he has a right to those views.
It's a Constitution allows.
It's Constitution allows for that. So I didn't, say anything against that. I allowed him to express that. But the point is, Bahamians, we have to know our constitutional rights, freedoms, and privileges, and people are beginning to understand and learn it. And my job as a broadcaster is to make sure they understand every single article that has to do with the governance of this country. And I think that's where the real problem is. There are some other things in the Constitution we won't be able to cover. But the point is that there are some specific things that the Bahamian people have to have in their psyche. So when they go to those polls, they will know what to do. And I tell them, the Holy Bible and the Constitution. That's basically what you need. Give God a chance. We haven't given him a chance in 52 years. We started out good. We started out with good intentions. But then we got derailed shortly thereafter. Totally derailed. We thought our intellect could carry us somewhere. So you got these man-made intellects, which aren't worth anything at all. Weak, puny people who think they are gods. They are the ones who have caused us all of these problems, being influenced by other forces. And so we have problems, Bahamians. We have to have God in our knowledge. And since God said, you don't want to put me into your knowledge, well, that's fine. I can let you butter this out for yourself. So if we keep going in that direction, we may not have a country. So I'm hoping that we can avoid that we repent of our wicked ways, turn to God, and he will help us. Go ahead, Brother Conrad.
Yes, Professor, first caller I came in on the conversation, and he was asking you about the Republic.
Yes.
And I listened to it, and I now will address it, is that when you move to bring constitutional change, you need to have a quorum, which is the parliament. And you need almost 2/3 or 3/4 to bring changes to that article. And for what I've seen over the history of our parliament, the 52 years,
yes,
we have been giving every political grouping a heavy landslide, thinking that because they have this landslide, that they will be able to do well for the country and the growth.
yes.
And it is sad to say that the proof we've seen is that they will start out on day one, day two, doing well, and then the rest of their term in office, they go and do their own thing.
Yes.
And so what they will tell you on the campaign trail is not a policy. And I try to tell people that's what I always explain to them. I said, what you say to me on the campaign trail is campaign rhetoric.
That's right.
Now, when you get in that parliament and you are the party with the majority, you got to now present sound policies that lines up with the Constitution.
And that has not been happening.
And what I tried to explain to people, I said, listen, to go down the road to move to Republic, if you are a grouping that wants to go to Republic and you happen to have a slight majority, how are you going to convince the other two parties, if there are other two parties in the parliament, and you don't have a 2/3 majority to vote with you? That means that the proposal you got, or proposal, it will die. Because you need that majority to vote to side along with you. And if you don't have that, and then I don't think you would want the country to give you a heavy landslide victory either. Because we already seen the nature of the parliament when they have these landslides. So some people say, well, I've never had that position, but still, it is better to be safe
than sorry.
Yeah. So I'm always telling people that we always argue and hear them. We've heard the leader of the opposition, we've heard the prime minister say,
yes,
when he's in opposition,
yes,
I can't do nothing because I'm in power.
Yeah.
That's not true what the Constitution says. Yeah, any member of the Senate, any member of the parliament can draft a bill. And he presented and they debated. When my good friend, Mr. Lewis, came up and presented, people were excited, and I was like, wow, this was here all the while. From 1973, this was
right up to now.
Up to now. No one
has worked with it.
No one has ever took time to read and
article,
understand the article that this is the power they have.
That's right.
I told two sitting members of the parliament Wednesday, and they went to a break, and I said, let me show you something. If you all want to bring changes to this country, think of this. This would have been the right time that once the election was over, we should have had one bill drafted and presented to the House of Assembly or by the Senate of every member in that Senate and the Parliament, one bill to uplift the Bahamian people over this 5-year period. Not rely on a grouping to make the decision.
That's right.
Everyone should have made a contribution. See, this is how I believe in democracy. What's the use of having all of you guys sitting down and nobody says nothing? Then you vote in a caucus.
Right.
You know, the famous way the speaker says, all in favor, say aye.
Say aye, yeah.
It's an echo. Let's use democracy. Let's start have some roll call voting.
Yeah, we have to have that.
So we could see as a public
who
voted for what, who abstained from what.
Right.
And so we can know now and help the Bahamian public, especially the voting public, now to make better decisions who they're going to send to Parliament.
That's right.
Because now if you know this fella or this lady has a bad track record of basically passing and voting for bad bills, why would you want to return them back to the Parliament?
You don't.
You don't. And so these are the things that I always tell people that you ask for. You know, I said something to those guys the other day, and I said, this new thing you're all about to be talking about with biometrics, I said, how do you know those persons who have those documents are verified to be Bahamians?
Exactly.
He said, well, you can check. I said, you can't, because the parliament just taking, and I said, the passport office is just taking information comes from immigration.
Immigration, yes.
How's immigration showing you all proof that these people met the qualifications to become citizens? So we have a flawed system with the biometrics. So we need to basically, before we move forward to that, we need to now go and look at the process of how these people became Bahamians.
That's correct.
And so that's all I said to him. And he's like, well, could we take their passport? I said, which passport? You can't touch another country
No,
passport.
that's
I
another
said that's a
matter.
violation.
Yeah,
I'd say the only thing you can do is check yours.
I think we got to go to a break
Yes.
again. All right, you got to play that on the tape.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. This is Professor Sidney McGarr, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, Open Line Friday. We're having a very interesting discussion with Brother Carter. When he gets going, he can go until the man comes back. We are here to help you to understand what is going on in the Bahamas, Bahamian. We just have too many problems. That's why this upcoming election is going to be very, very important so that you will know and understand clearly what the issues are and what you need to do about them. This is Professor Sidney McCarter, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after this break. Bahamians, please listen carefully to what is being said. See, I always tell you, listen to what the man says, and then after that, watch what he does. The man always accused us of not doing our homework. But they ain't gonna accuse me of that anymore, because I always do my homework. That's why it's important that we understand what the man says and then watch what he does and see if it lines up in the line with the Constitution. That's another kettle of fish again. But the point is, you have to be responsible, Bahamians. When your leaders go wrong, You got to chastise them. You have to tell them. Now, if they don't want change, there's something you could do about that. And I think a lot of us take a lackadaisical attitude. And so the leaders believe they could do anything and everything when they want to do it, how they want to do it, no matter how it hurts you. Mr. Producer, go ahead with the tape, please.
Very ambitious, and rightly so. At the heart of this redevelopment is an integrated resort village that will create jobs, restore confidence, and give Grand Bahama the momentum it deserves. That means 3 new hotel buildings, a full-scale cruise resort, a revitalized 25,000 square foot casino, a Greg Norman designed golf course, over-the-water cabanas, beach clubs, family attractions, water parks, retail spaces, restaurants, music venues, and a 16-slip mega yacht marina. This is no small undertaking. This is an investment of $827 million and perhaps much more. The kind of scale that has the power to shift the local economy, create opportunity at every level, and change lives for the better. More than 1,800 jobs will be created during the construction, and about 1,750 permanent jobs when the development is fully up and running.
Heyman, you heard what the Prime Minister said about Grand Bahama. Brother Cartwright?
My thing is this now. I'm looking at the maps.
That's a pretty picture he painted there with words.
I look at the maps. You're talking about 3 hotels.
That's what
You're
he
talking
said.
about a cruise village.
Right.
You're talking about a couple slips, yacht slips.
Boating yachts, yes, that's what he said.
Now, you say once 1,300 temporary construction jobs.
That's what he said.
And then 1,750 permanent jobs.
Yes.
So I'm like 3 hotels. That means you got cooks, you have servers, you have waiters, you have people doing beds.
That's
and so when you look at that whole scope, 1,750 sounds like a very small number.
Yes.
I would figure you would have said you could have looking at with that kind of project going on, anywhere between about 3,000 to 4,000 jobs.
But he
permanent.
did.
So he's short.
But okay, Mr. Producer, hold on. But he did say the project is worth 800 plus million.
800 plus close to $1 billion.
Almost $1 billion, yeah.
So when you look at that amount of permanent workers, that is very small.
It is small, very small indeed.
And I'm trying to figure out why would you, if you got that kind of money being invested, you should at least have at least about 2,000 to 3,000 permanent jobs.
Maybe 5,000.
And 5,000 if you add all of those, like the cab drivers and stuff, they'll spin off around that.
Yes.
So you almost look at basically, he's talking about changing the shift in the landscape.
Shift the landscape, that's what the man said.
So 1,750, that isn't even shifting nothing. I don't think he understands maths.
Oh, okay, all right. We have a caller, Mr. Producer. Call you live on here. Go ahead, please.
Professor, I just had to quickly call back.
You heard what the Prime Minister said.
Yeah, I can't even follow that.
Maybe he's dreaming then.
He's a lawyer. I got all of that. But this is what I want to say. Mr. Cartwright said a minute ago that any minister can table a bill.
Or senator.
And some of these people have, or senator, they have been in parliament now all of these years. You know, and if they use it, what would they do? Well, they haven't done anything, either party.
Yes.
So why would we want to still give them a chance to see what they may do when they haven't done it?
Yes.
We need to vote all of them out.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we sending them to be our voices.
That's right.
And you have to keep telling them, do you know you could do this? Do you know you could do that? Well, then we don't need them in there because they don't even know
what
their powers are.
Exactly. That's
you know, so, I mean, Bahamians, nobody that's in there now needs to go back.
So, caller, who,
Now, if we have to look for righteous people, anything outside of what's there will be better than what's in there now.
so caller, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
If you don't have none of the existing parties that, let's say the FNM and PLP, who would be the opposition of the government?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to find different people. You know, I understand we need the PLP and the FNM. You need some of them.
No, they
But
can
look
keep
for
their
different
part.
FNMs and look for different PLPs.
Let me
Yes.
put it. Let me just put something here for the card, right?
Mm.
70 years consecutively, the PLP has been in the House of Assembly and the Senate. Do you know that?
Exactly. And they haven't
70
done anything
consecutive
for themselves.
years. What is it they have
Why
not
would we
yet
want
done?
to put them back?
Huh? That's the track
Why would we
record
want
that
to
you
put them
have.
back in?
And with the FNM,
That's their
55
track
years.
record. But Professor, that's what I'm saying. They have a track record
That's what I'm
because
looking
they have
at.
been there.
Come
Why
on,
would we
man.
want to put them back?
I would say to you right now, madam, that a young man said to me a little while ago before when I was on the way to the show. He said,
Mhm.
all political parties in this country needs to go younger. We have now seen that
I agree.
the elders of these political machineries, the two known political machineries, he said, are brain dead. They have no new
They've lost
ideas.
their way.
Yes. And he said, until they understand this, that people will move away from them because they are not bringing nothing new or building on anything that they previously had. So he said that basically they're gonna have to go into some form of a political wilderness and refine themselves. And I was like, wow, this is something I
I
never
agree.
heard people talk about, because people always look up to the leaders and they galvanize around them. And he said, no. He said, they have to now reborn themselves, because he said, what we have now is not showing us that they have no new ideas. And he said, for the country to grow, you need new ideas. You cannot build a country using 1960 formulas. You have to
Let me
expand.
let me quickly say this before I go.
Yes, ma'am.
The professor said, the prime minister said, we don't have enough. This is why immigration people need to come in. Migrants to work on our construction sites. Now, if our government had any type of vision over 50 something years, all our kids ain't going to college.
No.
Why don't we have trade schools?
Exactly.
Question I've been
If you
asking.
see that you're giving out work permits for bricklayers, carpentry, why haven't the government build those type of schools?
Good question.
And we're
caller.
tired of just getting a job. We want to be invested in these companies that come into our country. We should have some type of returns from the money that they make in this country.
Yes, ma'am.
But again, it goes to leadership and vision.
Yes, it does.
That's all
And
it
these
is.
older folks don't have it.
No.
And we need somebody in there. But we don't need what we got now.
Well, that is why you need to look to God. God says, when the righteous are
Professor,
in
we are
authority,
praying
the people rejoice.
and we're asking God's guidance.
No, we have to
On the
have his
country?
guidance. We have to have his guidance.
And as we do that, we still need somebody in there.
Yes, ma'am. We do.
We do.
You have to have righteous people to run your country if the people are going to
Professor?
be happy and rejoice.
We ain't got the righteous in there now. I know that for sure.
Well, we know what the record
Because
is
we are
now.
punishing our people.
A lot of punishment. Yes, ma'am. We know the record now.
Yes.
So we have to
So
take.
we need trade schools for bricklayers, electrical. We need those things to be taught in our country.
We should have had that
Then we
over the
don't
last
need to
52
import
years.
these people. We should have had those 52
Yes, ma'am.
years ago.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
They have no vision. Vote them out.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. I believe we have another tape to play, Mr. Producer. One more.
The caller, then he'll play the
Oh,
tape.
the caller. Oh,
Yes.
yes, the caller. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller, you live on air. I'm not
Hello?
hearing it.
Yes,
Yeah,
go
go
ahead,
ahead,
caller.
caller. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good
Yes, sir.
afternoon,
Good
sir.
Thank you for
afternoon.
taking my call. Listening to the recourse of the last caller and some of the things that Mr. Cartwright talked about. I agree wholeheartedly that successive government has failed us because this again, and I keep emphasizing on track record, based on where we are now, and based upon what we are doing. In the Word of God, it says that when you fail to, number one, acknowledge God,
Yes.
when you fail to not pay attention to vision, pay attention to righteous leadership, God curse your land, and one of the curses is that He allows foreigners to take over your land.
Yes.
Exactly.
And we have to come to grips and understand. As much as I love being a Bahamian, I can't go nowhere else in the world and say that I am a Bahamian. Why is it so difficult for our people to understand that we have to look out for ourselves?
Yes.
That when you're talking about bringing out manifestos and not doing what you and not fulfilling what you're supposed to do, we have a vision, a leadership problem in this country. And sad to say, we have been putting in unrighteous people in the House of Assembly.
Okay.
I hear Professor dancing over the truth. Over the word. But me, I'm straightforward. We have been putting unrighteous people in leadership, and we are mourning. We are suffering right now. And true, this is the last election that we are going to be the majority. And if our people don't understand in our system of government, and we will then don't have a country.
Yes.
Just persons to look at history. Look at the Fijians. How they had to take over their government by 5 coups. I hope we don't get to that.
No, we can avoid that, caller. We can avoid that. That's why,
I hope
God
we
has
don't
been
get to
merciful
that.
to it.
But they have the same philosophy as us. You hook up on colors, what I call, and these so-called educated persons, look what they do. They have no say. Back in Cylinder Trinidad time, when they first came in power, they were average persons. When you talk about taxi drivers, when you talk about teachers, when you are talking about businessmen, when you are talking about average unknown person, and we so want the educated and the so-called experienced. Yes, we got wrong with experience person,
Okay.
but right now We are in a crisis, and our country is being invaded.
Okay. Well, thank you, caller, for your contribution. We appreciate what you have said, and you're right on target. Mr. Bruce, we have another caller. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead quickly, please.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes,
go
sir,
ahead,
go ahead.
caller. You got to move quickly because we have.
Yes. My comment is on the new proposed adventure for Grand Bahama from the Prime Minister.
Yes.
We here in Grand Bahama, during the 70s, 80s, some in the 90s, the princess had employed more people than what he is saying, according to the size of the princess and
Yeah.
what they're putting in.
Caller, forgive me for laughing
way-
because I knew my grandmother and my aunt and my mom them work in those areas, and I knew those hotels were smaller. That's why I started to giggle. Apologize for that, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
caller.
because the princess was smaller
Much
and had
smaller.
about 2,000 employees.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, that kept Grand Bahama for a period of time. If
Yes,
it
sir.
wasn't for the princess at that time, after Francis and Jane, Grand
Yes.
Bahama just went by the wayside.
Okay. Okay, well, caller, thank you very much for that contribution. We appreciate you, and make sure you call again. He called from Grand Bahama.
Yes.
That was very good. Now, Mr. Producer, please, I hope we have that tape lined up, as we want to play that tape. For the copyright, I'll ask you to comment on this tape.
Yes.
This is the tape from the Prime Minister, by the way. Go ahead, please. He's
Okay.
not quite
Well,
ready yet.
Here's what I would say to. That's why I said earlier, Professor, that with the Prime Minister Max,
Yeah,
It was
the
off.
maths is off. It has to be because he's
you're
saying
hearing from an individual who lives in
who
Grand
lives
Bahama
in Grand Bahama.
and works
Yes.
in the hotel, and he could tell you roughly the staff. That's why when I heard him say 1750 jobs, I think we now have the.
I think we got that tape.
Okay, let's go to the
Let's
tape.
Mr. Tape, go ahead, Mr. Producer.
Let me just say that I have always been a part of this community. And there's no accident I know how to do all day with accident. Because I always be and share with you. Because you are me and I am you. And I'll be here with you always. And those who knew me from the past and know me now, they always knew that I was there and always been there for you. I don't call you all are not nations Bahamians. You are Bahamian and your origin is Asian. Mine too, and many of us. We have to stay apart for now so we can be together later. You know now.
Mr. Cartwright, I can let you comment, please.
For someone who end up becoming Prime Minister of this great Commonwealth of ours, to go and say that in a quorum to a bunch of people who are not citizens, and you say to them, I am one of you, and you are me.
Well, he is one of them.
So your own words, you
His own
admitting
words,
that
yeah, he said it.
you are admitting that you are not a Bahamian.
Yes.
So
Say he always will be with them.
yeah, and so for me, I take that as a high offense because
I take it very seriously.
I could never tell the leader of the United States, President Trump, I am one of y'all and y'all is one of me. No, I can't. He could never tell me as a Bahamian he's one of us. No, he can't. He's
No, he
not a
can't.
Bahamian.
That's right.
So for our Prime Minister to use that on the campaign trail back then,
Yes, he did.
I thought that once he became Prime Minister, he was supposed to go to Parliament and apologize to the Bahamian public on that matter, because that is out of taste, out of pocket. Because now you embellishing these people who are non-citizens to feel that they have a right to
They have a
decide.
right, yes.
They have no right. They have the ordinary right of freedom, but they do not have the right as a citizen.
No, they don't.
What is given to me as a citizen is for me.
That's right.
So that day, what he did was out of pocket. I don't think I could ever forgive him for saying that, because he has not apologized on it.
No, he hasn't. He has not done it. That means he meant exactly what he said.
Yes.
All you have to do is look at the track record from the time he made those damning words in this country right on up to now. And that's what I'm trying to get the Bahamian people to understand about this particular personality. The evidence is overwhelming right in front of your face. And that's why I am saying this upcoming election is going to be very, very serious. It will either make or break the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The man tell you where his heart and his mind is. We have a non-Bahamian in the House of Assembly by his own omission, because he's one of them. And we take that lightly. Bahamians, you can't take these things lightly. These are the damning words coming out of the mouth of the man who is now the Prime Minister of this country. And that was during the election campaign. And you see what the results are now. All this problem we have in this country. The man say your origin is Haitian. We use a Bahamian. What kind of crap is that? Just because he say they're Bahamian, they're Bahamians. Give me a break, man. The Constitution has some very specific requirements how one can be a citizen of this country. And Haitians cannot qualify to be citizens in this country. Cannot qualify. Their own constitution doesn't allow them to qualify. Their own government doesn't allow them to qualify. Our constitution says you cannot have duality in citizenship. They will always be Haitian. That's all they could be. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's the harsh reality we have to face. And that's why I'm saying we're going to need God's help in turning this place around, Bahamian, because these people are dead serious. But God is able to take care of the matter. All we have to do is do our part, and God will help us. But the Cartwright, get your closing remarks.
Yes, Professor. You know, I just realized through the producer who invited me earlier that I forgot that Monday coming is a public holiday.
It's a public holiday, yeah.
And so I would say to all Bahamians out there and guests, be safe, enjoy your weekend, and I would hope that we wouldn't have any to report on crimes over the weekend. That we have a peaceful and a wonderful weekend. And a happy holiday to all.
Happy holidays to all. Emancipation Day is on Monday.
Yes.
And Bahamians, please be safe. You know, don't let others get in the way and cause you to do things which you should not to do. We have enough problems in this country as it is now. This is Professor Sidney McGarter, Walter Thompson. Have a pleasant holiday, a pleasant weekend, and let us trust God, because we're going to need his divine intervention to help us to save the Commonwealth of Bahamas. This is Professor Sidney McGarter, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. Have a pleasant afternoon.